if you listen, you're a necromancer. You use your zombies to pull the wagons and whatnot that you are fixing up, and then they can hoist the bodies of the corpses that you got to reanimate later. It's logistics, baby,
Yeah.
and this helps you with those logistics plans.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Mending.
Whoa. It's fixed.
Well
This would
done.
be a really useful spell to have in life, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Of all the cantrips in this game that I'd be like, this probably is the one I should take. It's this one. Over Mage Hand, over all the rest, just being able to like, mending. Oh, I need to fix my whatever. Just you mend it. It's that easy. There's no questions. It just fixes. It's great. Okay, so this is a cantrip for artificers, bards, clerics, druids, sorcerers, and wizards. Transmutation. Its cast time is a minute, which is very long. The rate
Yeah.
is touch. Components, verbal, somatic, and material components. It requires 2 lodestones. Duration's instantaneous. You happy with that?
Yeah. Lodestones.
Oh my god, you're laughing at the word load, huh?
Yes.
Okay,
And
got it.
in the context of stones.
Sure. This spell repairs a single break or tear in an object you touch, such as a broken chain link, 2 halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking wineskin. As long as the break or tear is no larger than a foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the former damage. The spell can physically repair a magic item or construct. Sorry, it can. It can repair a magic item or construct, but the spell can't restore magic to such an object. So if breaking a magic
Yeah.
sword removes the magic qualities, you can make it a sword again, but you can't make a magic sword again.
Right.
Makes sense?
So it's a single repair. So if you shattered a glass on the floor, you could theoretically spend like 4 days fixing
Yeah.
it. Okay.
One little piece at a
Probably
time.
not going to do that. Yes. I
One foot
wonder, could
tears
you,
are pretty big, right? Like yay big. So you could
yeah,
conceivably do it over and over and over again, to a bunch of different things of moderate size damage, right?
yes.
Just like
I
every
wonder if,
Rainwright in the Forgotten Realms should have this.
Mhm.
What are you saying?
I was saying, I wonder if you could use it to put a jigsaw puzzle together, because
That's a good
technically that
question.
is a giant broken picture.
Or is it a series of non-broken pieces that just happen to fit together? Ask your philosophical questions in the or answer this philosophical question in the comments. There's not a lot to say about mending other than it's just not that useful
Yeah.
in actual play. Like, hypothetically, you can be like, oh, I'll save on 4 arrows and bend the broken ones. You got 4 copper pieces out of your cantrip.
Well,
Okay.
this is the only tables that this is going to matter at are tables that I probably don't want to play at anyway. Like these are the ones that are, create food and water is going to matter because the DM is meticulously keeping track of how much you've eaten or drank and how what equipment your condition what condition your equipment is in and like every little bag and arrow and whatever. That's yeah, that would be a major headache.
So I think that it does do more than just track and how many broken glass files do you have? How many of X, Y, or Z equipment from the shop are you keeping track of? Do you have all the rations you need or whatever? I do think it has a home outside of that, but I think the other home that it has is kind of the opposite kind of table, and it's more of the tactical strategy game table. And I'm not gonna
Mm.
lie to you, because like I'm thinking of you in the scenario where you're in a broken down church or whatever, and you're defending it from an incoming zombie, and you're like, okay, team, you get an hour to make repairs, to fix things up, to put up bastions, to make barricades, to plot where you want to go. And this can be a part of like, okay, we seal off this window. I have this much time to seal this much space, and you can make some extra barricades, defenses in one way, shape, or form. If you're going to play that kind of game, you probably don't want to be playing 5th edition because there's way better versions and way better tabletop games for that kind of play out there. But it might be the case that like you make D&D 5e fit that because everyone knows how to play it. I can see that being kind
Mm.
of a case, right? Is everyone knows how to play 5th edition, you want to play that kind of game, you engineer it with using some tools like mending to bridge the gap, using artisans tools a lot more, trying to facilitate more of a build your own encounter kind of scenario. We just talked about Druid Grove. This goes alongside Druid Grove encounters pretty well as being like, here's the setup. How are we all defending the space? What contributions are we all bringing? The Druid brings 4 giant trees. You fix some windows. Someone's lifting a little bit more weight than the other, but it does kind of fit at at those tables, I think, kind of well. Beyond those two extremes, though, the I need to fix everything so we don't run out of arrows or our wagon doesn't break down or whatever, and we're going to tactically fix every battle map and stop entrances here, here, and here on the different map from things coming through there. We need the perfect guaranteed seals that Mending offers. This is going to look almost entirely like a cosmetic cantrip that has fewer modes than the rest of the cosmetic cantrips, right? This is going to be something you do to make yourself feel like the Artificer. It's going to be something that you just have alongside your Forge Domain Cleric to be like, oh, I fix things.
Well, speaking of the Artificer, that's like the one exception. The Artificer that gets the little robot pet.
Mm-hmm.
Mending
you can
can
use
be
that
used
on
to heal
them to
that.
heal it. Yeah.
Yes. So
the one exception in this game.
Yes, that character probably wants this.
Yes, that's definitely true. Free infinite heals, or I think there might be a set number of times you can do it or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's useful on that character where it's much less useful elsewhere.
I mean, it still takes a minute, so.
Yeah. I actually would have loved if they did include a little bit, like a little line that says, construct creatures that are damaged, you can use this cantrip to restore hit points to them. I think that'd be kind of cute. You could then pair it with some of the summon spells, maybe. There could be some little bit more fun extra juice that makes this a lot more interesting on narrow archetypes, and I'm here for that. I'm here for giving text that's a little bit underwhelming, a little bit more power in niche environments, but
right.
For now, it's one niche environment, and I don't rate this thing particularly highly.
I mean, I guess there's also, if you come across a broken down wagon, and ask the GM, if I spend 4 hours using Mending over and over again, could this be as good as new wagon?
Yeah,
that's something.
Now do you need that is another real question.
I don't know. Yeah.
Normally when there's trash laying around the world, it's there for like set dressing. It's not there to be like a useful tool. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm the kind of person that picks every single thing up that you can find in a video game and hoards it, right? I don't throw anything away in Minecraft. I have to have big lines and rows of things hoarded. I do play D&D kind of the same way, where I don't want to waste your resources, and I will track them all if I'm allowed to. So I would be the person that'd be like, I'm going to fix that cart. I'm going to fix that cart. I'm going to fix that cart. I'm going to fix this barrel. I'm going to fix that barrel. It's all going to the back of those new carts I just got. Like, that's the kind of character I could envision myself playing, especially if I'm a necromancer and have
cart salesman.
Yeah, exactly. If you listen, you're a necromancer, you use your zombies to pull the wagons and whatnot that you are fixing up, and then they can hoist the bodies of the corpses that you got to reanimate later. It's logistics, baby.
Yeah.
And this helps you with those logistics plan. That's definitely a different kind of game, though, right? That's going back to like the city builder that we talk about with Wall of Stone and stuff like that, right? The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, maybe that is a fun game to play as a single player experience, right? You just sit down and be like, okay, let's see what I can map out a wizard to do in a realm of D&D given a certain amount of time. That could be a fun little exercise academically. But as like a practical spell, fixing wagons is not, at 95% table, it's not going to be that important, right?
All right, what about moving a structure? It's too heavy for you and your friends to move. So you just smash it to pieces, bring it bit by bit, and rebuild it somewhere else.
I guess, man. I guess you could do that for it. There's always the real question also that exists. How much harder is it to fix it mundanely? Right? Like, how difficult is this object to fix without the use of mending? And usually, in the case of moving an entire structure, that's a huge endeavor. So if you're going to do it anyway, you might as well invest in like the tools to build it accurately and faster, and like take it down in a specific fashion to reassemble it easier. So I don't see mending being a particularly big component of that.
Yeah.
Could be, but it, the ghoulish overkill. I think like your best case scenario with this thing is fixing leaks in a ship and repairing a dozen arrows or so, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be something you're going to find tons of use for. If you like the cosmetic element of it, if you want to fix the broken whip, if your barbarian smashes through the bar counter and you're the cleric next to them and go, it's okay, but sorry, I'll fix it. Just give me 15 minutes. You repair the bar for them. We'll never be back again. So sorry for my idiot friend. This does fit along that fantasy pretty well. That's really just cosmetic, though. I don't think you need to have that at any given table. I'm going to give Mending a 2, but it's a 2 that I'm happy to put on my character sheet.
Yeah.
It's fine.
2 sounds about right. It does something. but not something incredibly powerful or useful.
Yeah.
All right, that was Mending. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.